Joni Ernst is a hot ticket. Let me tell you, I mean, as a candidate, she's got pizzazz, she's got a big smile, she's got great ads. She's been a real comer. I think folks thought Iowa was really not within striking distance. I got to believe if it's a Republican night that Joni Ernst is going to be a winner, and she will be a sensation in this town if she comes here.
All right, one of the races we're going to be discussing right now with Peter Brown, Assistant Director of the Quinnipiac University Poll and Chief Spokesman for the Florida, Iowa, Ohio, and Virginia polls. Hey, Peter.
Afternoon.
Well, let's start with Iowa. And, RNC Chair Reince Priebus a week ago said that Joni Ernst was the best candidate we have, meaning the Republicans, obviously. Looks like she's going to emerge victorious?
Well, the latest Quinnipiac poll out this morning, which included interviewing through last night, now has Iowa dead heat, both candidates at 47%. Mr. Braley had a good weekend, and it's now a dead heat. Now, the earlier polls that Quinnipiac has done in Iowa have had Ms. Ernst slightly ahead.
Okay, yeah.
And now it's a little tighter. In fact, it's hard to get tighter than 47.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much so. What about the remarks made by Tom Harkin over the weekend, which came to light last night? Do you think that'll have much of an effect, where he invoked her good looks, etc.? Says she also looks nice, sounds nice, but I don't care if she's as good looking as whoever he said, blah, blah, blah. And now she's taking exception to that. Is that going to have any effect?
Hard to know. The people who are late deciders will decide based on personal characteristics, maybe. Maybe they'll do it based on who their mother-in-law is for. That's the thing about politics. You don't quite know exactly why people decide what they decide. There are not many undecideds in this race. In Iowa, you either like her or you don't like her. Iowa is, a little bit more blue than it is red. So that, you're right, when this campaign started, many places and many pundits thought that Iowa's Senate seat would likely stay Democratic. Ms. Ernst has been an excellent candidate. She's come from being a virtually unknown state senator into someone who has a serious shot of being a U.S. senator. Obviously, this poll finding is a little less optimistic for her than some of the others. But polling is half art and half science. And right now, she's on the cusp. We'll find out tomorrow night.
Yeah, we will. We'll also find out tomorrow night in the state of Florida, and that's a situation where the former governor, if I have my facts straight, I may not, at the beginning was doing rather well. Then the incumbent governor, Rick Scott, either evened it or pulled slightly ahead, and now you have it going the other way, and one reason for that is independence, correct?
Right, but the Florida race is essentially tied. It's a 1-point difference. 42 for Chris, 41 for Scott, and 8 for Libertarian and Adrian Wiley, and his 8% could be crucial. A 1-point lead is a statistical tie. So that when you think about Florida, think it's even. And what's interesting is that if you add up the 42 for Chris and the 41 for Scott and the 8 for Libertarian Andrew Wiley, that only adds to 91, which means there are 9% out there who either say they don't know or they're still deciding. That's a lot of people to be undecided at this stage of the race, especially one that's been so heavily covered. And frankly, one that has featured just an incredible number of nasty television ads.
Yeah, there's a rule of thumb usually that if the incumbent doesn't have 50%, he's in trouble. Of course, as you pointed out, the third-party candidate has 8 or 9%. But does that apply here to Rick Scott?
No. Rick Scott is as well, and Charlie Crisp are both very, very well known. Most challengers are not as well known as incumbents, and therefore at the end they do better. But Mr. Crisp is not your average challenger. He's a former governor. He has very, very high name ID, as does Mr. Scott. This is a race between two people who are very different politicians. One, Mr. Christ, is an excellent retail politician. The other, Mr. Scott, is not as good a politician. But he's trying to win on other things.
Right, it is going to be very interesting. Peter, we're up against a hard break. I thank you very much for coming on and talking about these two very exciting close races. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
All right, Ed Morrissey's next, folks, from hotair.com. Don't go away.